Let's see. Let me close these out. So while I was looking for some news, while we were chatting just now, I want to bring up this article. I haven't read it. I read the first little bit of it, first like paragraph. So the Prime Minister Netanyahu said yesterday that Israel is going to take control of all of Gaza. Isn't that lovely, guys? Don't we just love when the war doesn't de-escalate?
Right.
You
This is
know,
this is ridiculous. I have another tweet I'll pull up. But it seems like Donald Trump is getting fed up with it. People close to Donald Trump are reporting that he's been looking at a lot of images of children in Gaza, and he's getting fed up with it. Reportedly he's telling Netanyahu to wrap up the war, but Netanyahu, I don't think he's gonna fucking listen.
no, but he's gonna jeopardize the Abraham Accords if he doesn't, because Israel has everything to gain right now and everything to lose if they don't stop this.
I mean,
Because I honestly don't think that Trump's going to just sit by and let Israel get all the benefits of every other country and continue this crap.
yeah. I mean, we've seen Donald Trump. I mean, just over the weekend, he went to what was it, Saudi Arabia, right?
Hmm.
He's been going to like all these different countries trying to make peace with everybody. You brought up when we were messaging earlier, Nora. He's setting up meetings in for Ukraine and Russia, I believe, in Turkey. I was
He
the area
just got
there.
off the phone with them
Yeah,
literally a couple hours ago. He is
Well,
in the
good.
middle of a negotiation to stop the war.
didn't
Hmm.
Zelensky show up to Turkey and both Trump and Putin didn't show up? And so that was almost like a.
Was that a story? I didn't see that.
I
I
didn't see that.
think, yeah, I think that's the way that it played out. They were all supposed to meet up, and because there was that interview where Trump was on the plane during his trip to Saudi Arabia, and reporters were like, "Oh, are you going to go to Turkey?" And he's like, "I'm not sure if I'm going to Turkey. Like, I might, but I
To be fair, like I don't think it's smart to have those three in the same place.
Not right now, no.
it would be the equivalent of Trump walking into the DMZ of North Korea or whatever. Like
Well,
it's
just think
that
about it, like there's a lot of people in the world that would love to see Putin and Trump gone. So it's like, oh, both in the same place.
Easy
All right.
target.
right.
Yeah.
So
Well, and I know that Carolyn Levitt came out yesterday during her press conference, and she flat out said that he was going to sit down and have a conversation on the phone with Putin first, and then right after he was scheduled to have a phone call with Zelensky. So he is in a back and forth with these guys actively.
Yeah.
yeah, but
I mean,
I mean, I've been talking a lot recently about the Israel stuff, and it doesn't seem like there's gonna be any de-escalation. Israel, or at least Netanyahu, is not interested in de-escalation. And I've said it before. The only way that whole situation gets resolved is if you fix what's going on in Gaza and you fix whatever's going on with Israel. You have to fix both places. You can't fix one and not the other. It's just going to cause
Israel
more
needs to
issues.
back off.
Israel
Honestly, and
does need to back
I
off.
think Netanyahu needs to be impeached or overthrown or however it works over there. He needs to go away. They
Yeah, he
need to
needs to
put
stop
somebody
pushing. They
else.
need to stop trying to expand their territory. Gaza
Yeah,
needs to stop launching terrorist attacks. But
yeah.
like I've said multiple times, can you really blame them when? I
No.
mean, think about how many people are actually like are just straight up just children over there. You see
Yeah.
your whole family get murdered by the country next to you, and you grow up just knowing that your whole life. Are you not going to be a little radical? Like it's ridiculous to think otherwise.
yeah.
Well, Tim's song "Will of the People." Have you ever seen
Would
the
want to.
ending where it just sits there and it rotates over and over, and it's like it's a never-ending cycle. You have to break the cycle.
Yeah.
Melted joined at a very opportunistic time. Hi, Melted. We're not talking about anything controversial at all. Um,
Of course not. Of course not. Why is my camera not working? One second.
Melted will be with us in just a moment once he figures out how to turn on a camera.
So
Um,
one quick thing on the fact that Israel needs to like pump the brakes. Dave Smith has been bringing up an interesting concept recently, and he's been saying that when you have like two different like goals, and there's a moment of contention between the two, you'll see which one of those goals you want more. And it sounds like Gaza was saying, "Yeah, we'll give back all of the hostages, but we want a permanent ceasefire. Like you are done bombing us and whatnot." And Netanyahu's response was, "No, we are going to end Hamas." And so, if the goal was to secure the hostages and bring, you know, quote unquote bring peace to the area, well, that option is on the table, but he doesn't want that. So his actual goal is to just get rid of Hamas completely, either take control of Gaza or get rid of Hamas.
Well, Melted, welcome to the show. As you see on screen here, we're talking about how Netanyahu just said yesterday that he wants to take control of all of Gaza still.
Well, I'm just going to say Netanyahu is the most correct person that I've ever met in my life. And he does everything correctly, everything that he's ever done. Also, my wallet's getting fatter too, as I say.
I was going to say, where's
Okay.
that?
Yeah,
All right,
Ching,
Pinocchio.
ching,
But yeah, I mean, what else can we say? It's ridiculous. Donald Trump's trying to stop all these different wars that we have going on, but you have people like Netanyahu just that they don't seem like they they want it to stop. So I don't know.
I don't know. We talked. Phil Levanti talked about this on the cast that remains the other day, or Phil cast. It's not the other, like 2 weeks ago. He talked about how Netanyahu's trying to set up deals with Libya to bring ships over to pick up all the Palestinians and get them out and bring them over to Libya. So that way that he could take over all of the Gaza Strip and turn that into the new Vegas Strip of the Middle East, bro.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
the goal.
Yeah.
like I said, they don't. He doesn't want the war to stop. They don't want it to stop.
No, he wants it to stop, but he wants
So he wants to
them
win.
all gone. He wants them all gone.
No, I agree. It's ridiculous, and if they keep going the way they're going, Netanyahu very likely will drag us into conflict that we don't want. So,
And
it's ridiculous.
That's the saddest part is
Yeah.
that this is
He needs to stop.
this is a battle between. Am I like super low on the mic or am I pretty good?
You're good.
This is like
No, you're good.
It's sad. This is like two sides I very much do not care for, and I'm siding. I never thought I would side with Muslims about situations like this, and yet here I am wishing Netanyahu would stop trying to kill these Palestinians. But I'm also hoping that these Palestinians stop trying to launch shit in Israel.
Well, that's what I was just saying right before you joined,
Two
Melted.
wrongs
I mean,
don't make a right.
absolutely. And what I was saying before you joined, Melted, is like when they even said it at the start of this war. Like over 40% of Gaza is there are children under the age of 16, and or I think it was younger than that. But anyway, it's still children. So like your whole family gets murdered by the country next to you, and then you grow up just knowing that your entire life, and they're still just constantly bombarding where you live. Like, do you not think you're going to grow up and be a little bit radical?
I do want to say they may be under the age of 16, but in situations like that, you grow up fast, and the army will see you as a military aged male at the age of 14. If you're able to carry a gun, bro, the military is going to see you as a hostile, and
it's 100% true. I'm just saying, from their perspective, because they absolutely need to stop attacking Israel. But I mean, what else can they do when Israel just keeps trying to expand and aggress upon them too? Because because the people that I argue with that are like just 100% pro-Palestine or 100% pro-Israel, what I always tell them is like, look, everyone has a right to defend themselves. So
yeah, it's
if Israel gets attacked, defend yourself. If Gaza's getting attacked, they can defend themselves. Like, I'm sorry.
And to be 100% clear here, just because in World War II we made a treaty, oh, this is the Holy Land. Treaties don't mean shit, bro. When you go to war, treaties don't mean crap, dude.
That's why I love when people talk about war crimes, because it's like, what's a war crime when
what
are you going to do to your enemy that's committing war crimes when you're literally at war currently?
Yeah, exactly.
That's something you solve after the fact, but that's only if you win.
That's when you have trials.
So here's a concept that I've been throwing around since the time that the Ukraine-Russia war just sort of broke out, and it's that the borders of countries have been expanded or have recessed for as long as humans have been ruling the earth, and I'm curious at what time the world just said, okay, this map that we have right here, this is the way it is, this is the way it always will be, and all borders are going to stay exactly where they're at. Like, while we see all of this hostility or whatever going on, and it's damaging, people are dying, and it's terrible, war is terrible, like this, like all of this is nothing new. This is the way that the world has always worked.
So
And so, how do you stop something that's been going on for millennia?
so
Well, that's the
uh
thing. It's stopping the this vicious cycle of violence.
the
It's just like any cycle. You have to be the one to stop it. And there is a problem. How do you stop it?
And I feel like Trump is like has a solution on how to stop it. Like he's going through all of these like trade deals to basically bring upon world peace, if you can go that far to say it. But everyone is still stuck in the old ways of we use force and destruction and war to get what we want instead of the we use negotiations and trade and cooperation to get what we want.
well, the thing that you're saying about who, like, when did we decide that these maps
Yeah,
are, that was something. It's never been decided, dude. The maps are constantly changing with who owns what land. If you look at China, dude, if we went to VPN to China right now and I showed you a map of what China thinks the world is, they have Taiwan, they have part of India, they have part of Pakistan, they have parts of Africa. Like, China says that they own a bunch of these land that they do not own according to the UN.
that's crazy.
Well,
Yeah,
technically,
And
they do own them now because they would give them extremely high interest loans
they
and they can't pay them back. So, what they do in order to pay back those high interest loans is they give them the land. So, technically, legally, they do own it. They do it in Angola all the damn time.
Confessions of an Economic Hitman,
Uh huh.
same methodology. Yeah,
well the
Yeah.
the
China's
thing
doing it. So, by law, they legally own the land.
well by whose law?
The
Because
laws of those countries.
Wait,
yeah,
wait. So
Angola has flat out admitted that China owns a lot of land there because China came in for development, gave them high interest loans. They weren't able to pay back on the loans, so they defaulted. And because they defaulted on those loans, China's like, okay, well, make up the debt to us, just give us the land.
what
wait,
what Melton's saying though is like if the same thing were to happen with China and the United States, we're not gonna as the United States gonna be like, oh, you just own the land now and forever, and then like if a conflict breaks out, we're like, oh, they own the land illegally. No, we would take it.
okay, wait. We're gonna
Yeah,
look up here
well,
real quick. So, are you saying China's laws they own the land, or by UN's laws they own the land?
by Angola's laws,
By Angola, okay.
yeah.
because they defaulted
We
on
agree.
their own law.
Is
They defaulted
Angola
on their own loan.
is Angola a part of the UN?
I don't know.
I don't remember off the
Because
top of my head.
if segregation, I need to look this up. If segregation is against the laws of UN, against humanitarian laws, then technically what China is doing would be illegal according to the UN. Because what they do is they go to these places and then they build up the infrastructure and everything, and then they only say Chinese people can use them. So technically, that would probably be against the law. If it just depends with how UN sees. Um, Let me look here.
So does the UN get to dictate where the borders are at? So when I asked the question of at what point did we say these are the borders and this is where they stay, was it once the UN was established and they became the authority on who
No, because
say what borders are
Czechoslovakia broke apart in the 90s.
Yep, it's always been changing, bro. Always, and then you even sooner, bro, is South Sudan. South Sudan didn't come a country like in the last like what 15 years.
but the narrative by like
Yeah.
the narrative by the people who are very pro Ukrainian is that Russia is trying to take land and that's Ukrainian land and they can't take it. Well, if it's the way that it always happened, then their argument is almost invalid. But if it but because they're able to express the narrative that hey, this is not okay because this is where their border stops, means that there's something in the zeitgeist that say that borders cannot change.
So
You know what I'm saying?
No,
it's never been a thing.
yeah,
Never.
the only way that we have borders set in stone like that, and even then it wouldn't work, as if we had a one world government, and even then, states would argue with each other and get into conflict over who has access to what resource.
At that point, it wouldn't matter if we had that world government because it wouldn't be states or anything like that. It'd be one unit. It'd all be owned by the people.
What I meant is
by
like
the world.
regions or like companies or private citizens, depending. There would still be conflict. Point being, because everything is always about access to resources. It's always who has access to what. The whole reason Russia went into Ukraine was because they wanted access to the Black Sea, and they wanted that warm water port. So it's like it's all about access. It's all about access. It's all about resources. And if people can't get it, conflict breaks out. So I don't think borders are ever going to be set in stone, unless again we have like a one world government. But that sounds nightmarish too. So,
but my argument is that people are saying that that a large amount of people are saying that borders are set in stone. Like even though we all here agree that they're not, that the narrative is that they are, and so anyone who's trying to encroach on borders in any way, shape, or form is the evil one.
Who believes that?
Borders should be respected, but they can change.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. Borders can be, borders should be respected, but they're always subject to change.
Yeah, what I was going to say, TJ, is I've never heard people say that borders are just set in stone, but I have heard people say that borders don't exist. So I would take that opinion with equal weight.
Sure.
Yeah. But here, let me just. True. So, when do you think the last war that changed hands of land that America was not involved with was?
China and Taiwan. No,
that's going on right now. Then America is involved with that.
We can say
I don't remember if we were involved with Czechoslovakia splitting or not.
No, that's sooner than that.
My answer was
nope. We were involved with Crimea. We were involved with Crimea. As much
Venezuela?
No, not Venezuela.
What's the answer?
It is.
I feel like
in 2005, the North and South conflict of Sudan. Sudan split in two in 2011 when the peace treaty was signed. It was a civil war from 2005 to 2011, where it was finally split with the peace treaties.
That's right.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. That's when South Sudan was made, and that became I believe that is the newest country in the world, and also one of the poorest countries in Africa.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And Nora, I don't know if you actually knew the name or not, but yes, it is called the Golden Dome Defense System.
Yes, I did. Okay. That's why I was like, I've watched it.
I was
like, it's called the Golden Dome. Yeah, I got excited about it.
Why are we calling it the Golden Dome, bro? It should be like the Platinum
because it's
Dome.
The golden
That's
age of
I want the Diamond Dome. I want the
gold.
I want the Doug's Dimmadome and the Dinsdale Dimmadome.
No, dude, I said that on Nightcap, bro. I was like, what do you call this? The Dugsdale Dimmadome. Home of the Dugsdale Dimmadome.
Yeah. Ian's gonna go, no, graphene.
Where's the graphene dome?
Graphene dome.
I mean, like Nora was saying right before you joined, Melted, because we were talking about it shortly before you joined. It's Trump's whole theme. Like he did the golden visas or whatever, right? Like his whole thing is golden this, golden that. Wasn't he one of the first people to get a golden toilet? Like,
dude,
yes.
He has a fake Ark of the Covenant, bro, at Mar-a-Lago.
Dude,
bro.
We should have that should be Donald Trump. Donald Trump should make a government. Like taxpayer funded monument called the Ark of the Government, and it's literally just it's literally just a giant paper shredder.
Yeah. Well, it's funny though, because like now that you guys are saying like it's all about gold, that just reminds me of the scene from Austin Powers where it's like, I love gold.
Yeah.
Oh, my dinky is a key made of gold.
Look, that guy was weird. All right, he ate his own skin flakes. All right.
Hey, bro,
did you just call it a dinky?
That's what he calls it.
That's what he calls it. My dinky is made of gold, and it's a key.
Yeah.
Those movies were phenomenal, by the way.
I love it. They don't make them like they used to, man.
Yeah, 100%.
That movie made he powers it.
Apparently, he's getting mixed up in this Diddy.
Is he?
Sad.
What?
way, bro. I love Mike
Yes,
Myers,
apparently they
bro.
brought up his name in the Diddy stuff, and I haven't heard anything more besides they brought his name up, and I'm like,
I
"Aw,
mean,
what'd you do?"
it could be nothing though. Like they did that with Epstein. Like people's names get brought up, and it's
I
like, oh,
hope
was he
it's
around Epstein,
nothing.
or was he actually doing things with Epstein?
Here,
Thank you guys so much for tuning into the video today. If you thought that was a great video, great live stream, great whatever you were watching, make sure you hit that like, thumbs up, whatever you're watching, hit that follow, subscribe, and if you really want to support me, you could always share the video and comment down below. But thank you guys so much. Make sure you follow on Rumble, YouTube, and X. Thank you, and peace out.